Hey y'all, good Sunday evening to you. Boy, it's been a little bit since we got together. Guess I shouldn't wait so long because now my thoughts and stories are all going to have to come out this evening. I was going to start at the top of the watermelon patch, but come out here to the quail, chicken, turkey coop, and something caught my eye. And y'all going to laugh a little bit, but I don't know if we're not a whole lot like this little fella. See that dude right there? Let me see. Here we go. That quail figured out a way to jump over that board and out that little hole to freedom. And behind me, plenty of freedom. But he decided that he was too scared to partake. So now he wants back in with the rest of them. So I'm going to help him out and put him back in there. He'll fly just fine on down. That's something else, isn't it? Turkeys are doing well. They follow me around like dogs sometimes. Hadn't started gobbling yet, but it won't be long. The chickens are about to be done for the night. They're starting to get ready to roost. But it's been a little while, but man, all the stuff around us, I've noticed really been hitting me the last couple of days. What a difference a month and a half or so can make on things. Almost makes me sick looking out here at this garden with life's cares. And we got it harvested. Corn didn't do so hot like I wanted it to in 3 stages, but it's all right. Coons had a little bit to eat. Tomatoes are about done. About to pick another round of them and make use of that dehydrator to get them stored where we can use them. Look at these weeds, y'all. I mean, that is, I can't even hardly come out here. But this, that's a Tabasco plant. I'm pretty proud of that rascal. Had about 5 of them. That's the only one that really came on. But it's loaded down with Tabasco peppers. So we'll be making some hot sauce out of that. But tell me I don't see some salsa in my future there, boy. Tomatoes are everywhere. The second and third round didn't quite make it. Seeing a lot of negativity. I guess I could get caught up in it. As bad as this garden looks, y'all remember a month and a half ago it wasn't a weed in this thing, but now you can't even walk without. I ain't scared of them, but most folks couldn't come out here to even think about it without a snake. That's a watermelon patch. Rough stuff. There's melons in here. I've already pulled a few out. Coon's got a couple of them, but we just get caught up with life. Had something happen close to home. Didn't know them that well, actually, other than just at church. But an older couple, married 64 years, they sat on the back row. Not because of their ways, but that's just where their seat was. They was there without fail, almost in their 90s, or maybe been in their 90s. But Effie and Winfred Brock, always there. She passed in May, and passed alone, as this pandemic that we've put so much emphasis on has dictated our lives differently. He wasn't by her side. I think a lot of it was grieving. He passed yesterday. But what impressed me about those folks, never was to their home, didn't really visit with them a whole lot other than in church, but never forget, about every Sunday, seemed like every Sunday, it's probably once a month, pastor would hold up $200 bills and say they had turned it in for their cake in a jar. Where you see, they would make these little cakes in a jar, not much value to them, I guess, but trying to help the church work on their own, and sold them for $5 a pop. I've had a couple of them. They're good, a little old cake in a jar, baked and ready to go. What impressed me was their vigilance and their commitment. Even as older, aged church members, they still did their part where they could. I remember over the years hearing him implore some of the youth to come out and learn how to make those and help with the fundraiser. Nobody ever took it up. I sure wanted to, but man, just seemed like I was so busy. And, I did offer him a couple of times to provide some eggs for the little project, but he said he had a good supply. I would imagine he was buying them. But what a witness. Just steady as rain they were. But I kind of jested a little bit because it's about rejoicing, I guess, because they're back together again, and they sure got a reward that was waiting on them. But his wife went ahead of him, and we don't know the timelines we all serve, but she's probably been telling the good Lord about these cakes in a jar they made. And so the Lord turned up the heat in Texas this week, brought him home so he could get a fresh batch. So I imagine heaven's eating a little different sweet tooth this evening, and they're probably in the kitchen baking them. But good stuff. A little closer to home, and I don't do this as a lot of us have been affected by this old silliness, really. I mean, yeah, it's a threat. We need to be prudent, but we're getting out of hand. Anyway, I was driving to church this morning. My assistant manager, Sylvia, we're like family up there. Her dad's been going downhill with Alzheimer's for quite some time, and it's kind of ramped up here lately. Dad, hate to put his business out there, but he'll be fine. He got a little fever, and he's positive for it, but he's taking care of himself, and he'll pull through just fine. I was thinking on the way to work about her and her dad and her situation, and I was going to text her and let her know about my dad just because we communicate that way. I said, you know what, she's got bigger things this morning. Said a little prayer for her, and sure enough, this afternoon got the text message that her dad had passed. Of course, unrelated to the whole COVID thing, just life and end of it. So prayers for her peace as we help her navigate through the sorrow. She's really close to him. I mean, death's all around. Negativity is all around, if we let it be. I had to Google it. I did. Y'all be amazed how many flat tires happened last year. If we all talked about flat tires all the time, we would be scared to drive. I know I would. Maybe I'm making a little bit of a stretch there, but that's okay. You are the sum total of your input, aren't you? Carl Sagan, some of you know the book, back in the 90s, wrote a book about a pale blue dot that we all walk upon every day. And it was in reference to astrophysicists. I've read it many times and revisited it again today. It's always impressed me. As much despair, joy, life events that happen to us, it all exists right here on this little blue dot. He commented on a space picture. I think the thing was 4 billion miles away, and it was just a speck. We get so caught up in things, don't we? Every pandemic, every war, every joy, every birth, every ideological thing that we've ever known has existed on really a small blue dot in a vast universe. So maybe we need to hold on to 2 Timothy 1:7. I sure do a lot. You have to be prudent and smart, but good book said God didn't give us the spirit of fear. A sound mind, faith, and oh, you know the rest. Can't quote it off the top of my head. I had it memorized, but I guess my Sunday school teacher would have rapped me on the shoulder for not remembering that one. Y'all know it well. The spirit of fear and a sound mind is the accents in that one that I wish to accentuate. I'll wear a mask. Yeah, I'll do it. If that's what it takes to make somebody peaceful in a business environment, not a problem. But this whole thing will pale in comparison. It's serious business to any other pandemic that we've seen in this modern time of thousands of years here on our blue dot spinner. Just have to remember that. Don't get caught up in the fear of it. Be prudent. Be smart. You have to obey the laws of the land. but you don't have to live in fear. Don't have to. Good thing them turkeys don't know anything about Thanksgiving, right? They're just pecking around and following me. That's how it is. I think if we knew how we was going out, we'd drop dead right now, wouldn't we? So we have to live each moment and celebrate it. I went to, guess I need to get out of the morning business for a little bit. I don't see it as negative, though. Went to a funeral of a young lady I didn't know, but her family was a big customer there at Lone Star, wheelchair bound from an accident, and when she was 7 years old, she lived to 30. Unexpected, not supposed to have been living that long in her condition, but even in wheelchair status and I believe a trach, she was able to complete high school as a valedictorian, went to college and got I think a master's degree. It's kind of cool watching all the lives that she affected, people from all walks of life, from a wheelchair that she had inspired, and just cool. So death's not the end, y'all. It's just a door. I have to remember that. But we have to seize today. And I guess if I got to wear a mask to do it, I'll do it. Right? Oh, well. Hadn't been on in a while. Wanted to check in. Nothing much different other than heat, turkeys, quail, and old dried up corn. I've been picking a lot of it off and throwing it to the chickens, and that's why they're gathered around me right now. They think I'm about to do so, and I probably will. But I do have another crop of cream crowders coming on. I let most of it go to seed, and I'm gonna need it for next year. If y'all got a crop in the field, you might let a little bit of it dry out. I imagine that the big seed producers anticipated a problem next year after March of this year being short, so we'll probably have plenty, but ones I saved did a lot better than the ones I bought, so I'm gonna do that again. There'll still be plenty to eat. I done got on a hydrator kick in there. Man, I'm dehydrating everything. Had a good friend of mine send over a technique for water glassing eggs. That's right, preserve them for 8 months in water. Well, some other stuff that goes with it. So I'm gonna have to give that a shot about September. These old ladies stop late about that time of year, so we'll see. I'll keep y'all up to date on that. Look at Sissy. She's been fading the heat in the daytime inside the cool house. I think I done started something. Those of you close enough to make a difference, she's probably going to come into heat like she did last year if it's a yearly thing. Probably toward the end of the month here, and going to look for a good viable sire to get a good solid litter out of her. She's the last one standing around here, and she's getting spoiled, and that's okay. She still does her job. Anything happens on the plate, she's letting me know. It would be good to get a good solid litter out of her to continue that line. Is that right, baby? She said, "Don't you bring no man over here." I'm gonna get bit now. No. All right, let me do a quick roll call, and we'll call it an evening. I pulled 2 little old sad watermelons out of the field and got it in my road debris cart. I'm gonna put it inside. I want to at least get some to make the some of those watermelon rind preserves. I can't really find the right recipe that I remember, but I'll figure it out. Remember those ones that were kind of maybe y'all had them, maybe you didn't. They were red cinnamon tasting. Seemed like I had a few of them as a kid. Look at them turkeys. That's something. All right, let's see where y'all are checking in from, and we'll call it an evening. Scroll back up. Some of these may be out of context. All right, there's Patricia checking in. How are you? Hey, Randy, what's happening? Oh, I did get a visit. Speaking of classmates, Randy's one. Good buddy Ray Lucas stopped in to the store the other day, and I was on the phone to a cousin talking about some hay deal and looking at getting some more hay for the store. And Sylvia came in and handed me a note that Ray Lucas was there to see me. And I looked at him, I'm like, there's no way that's the Ray Lucas I'm thinking of. It sure was. Him and his wife was over here to play a golf tournament. So we had a good visit. Good to see him. It's probably been 30 years. Good 25, I know. But it's always good to catch up with those that you spent, 18 years with? Right? Thank goodness for Facebook. We stay connected that way. There's Miles. Thank you. Good to see you. Debbie's checking in. There's Margaret down in San Antonio. Lilia's in Etoile. Hey, what's going on there? Just down the road. Aransas Pass with Miss Nancy. Miss Joanne Smith. How are you? Good to see you too, ma'am. Hope y'all are staying well. Donnie Miller. Enjoy the garden walks. Reminds me of home. Good stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. Sissy's over here. She's got 30,000 piles of dirt dug up, but she wants to get her a cool spot. So I guess she's about to bed down there and watch the chickens. So she's going to get her some fresh, cool dirt to lay on. How in the world a white dog that rolls in the dirt all day stays white? I'll never understand it. But anyway, we'll do a roll call while we watch Sissy make a little bed if she's going to finish it. There's Margaret. Weeds take over before we know it. Yeah, it got me pretty quick. I had them beat back, and then about a week of that rain, they just popped up. Seemed like overnight. All right, she's good now. We can turn it around. She's on watch. Kathy from Bernie, Texas. How are you? David and Gilmer. Watson's checking in. Good to see you there. Mr. Douglas Smith, I believe down Conroe way. Good friend. Kimberly from Parker County. Praying for rain. I think all these farmers can use it. Need a little growth on the hay pasture for real. Teddy's saying happy Sunday from North Carolina. There's Patricia. That's right. Appreciate the prayers for that. Kathy's checking in from Trinity. There's Leanne Nall-Teston. And my good buddy down Huntsville Way, Donna Wells. Wild man. How are you, ma'am? There's Mike in California. Jay's in Sardis. Those long, blessed marriages made how the Lord doesn't keep them apart long, it seems. That's right. That is right. Thanks, Patricia, for prayers for my dad. He's a pretty private person. No sense to make a big fuss about it. He used to tell me, even in the midst of this, he'd hurt himself pretty bad or get sick. He said, oh, son, I've had worse places on my eyeball. He'll come through it fine. He's just feeling a little puny the last couple of days. That's right, Margaret. Patricia again. And Martin saying good evening. Prayers for the family. That's right. Thanks, Miss Doris. Turkeys just keep pecking around, unaware of the coming days in November. That's right. Miss Melinda, hello from Oregon. Melting away. I don't know if you can handle it down here in Texas then if you're melting at 90. Just saying. Never know when God will call us home. That's right, Patricia. Thank you for that. There's my Aunt Pat. Tomatoes are still green. Should be ready soon. Well, good stuff. That's all right. Get ready to put a few up for the rest of the year. Hey, Jane, how are you? Kimberly's checking in. Young lady sounded like she was quiet. She does pray. Yeah, that's right. There's Patricia saying something about Sissy. Jana, how are you, ma'am? Tanya. Letitia, I thought I was about done. I'll just keep on going. There's Mr. Andrew from Interlochen, Florida. Good evening to you. Roy's checking in. Good old hot Houston. Nothing but concrete down there. Goodness gracious, I don't want to be down there. Turkeys have grown. They sure have. Y'all can't hear them crows, but something got them worked up in the woods. They probably see a predator or a snake or something. Boy, if you go out hunting, you can't let a crow see you. They'll tell everybody where you're at. Hunters know that. Murray, thank you. Appreciate that, sir. Andrew, using a brine with red hots for watermelon. Hey, I saw that recipe. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. There's Linda from Alabama. Vicky, recipe for cucumbers making rings. Hey, send that on over through the page. I'd like to look at that, Vicky. West Tennessee's in the house. Diane. Oak Ridge. Charlotte, live in Texas. All right, I think I got everybody there. All right. Boy, that corn looks horrible. I mean, I'm so OCD about this gardening. It's tough to even walk out here and look at all them weeds. But when I walked in on this old place, you couldn't even see the pasture. So at least we're ahead of that. But you know what? That says something. We do need to live in the moment because whether we're out here picking weeds or vegetables or sitting on the porch, life's gonna move on with or without us, isn't it? We have to reap what we can while we can, enjoy every silly moment, and then pick up and move on. These things, look at that. I don't know if y'all know much about peas, but I have picked purple hulls off of these bushes for about 3 weeks, and they're done. But I don't know. There's a whole nother round of blooms coming on. They're about to set more peas. If that's something. So, guess I'll be picking peas in the weeds. Sister called me last night. I was over there getting cayenne peppers. Y'all don't even want to see where I was getting cayenne peppers. You couldn't see me. I was on my knees right in the middle of the weeds just picking them. And when I sent her the picture of what I was, she said, goodness gracious, there's snakes everywhere. Well, there may have been, but they don't eat peppers, so I wasn't worried about it. Sissy wasn't either, was you? Ready to go? Huh? All right, come on. All right, y'all have a good evening. Be the light and enjoy the moment. And remember, this too shall pass. Might look up 2 Timothy 1:7 in the morning. Might set your week off just right. I think that's what I'm going to live by the rest of the year, or try to. Y'all be the light. I'm going to go check out this sunset. I think it's behind a thunderhead and some silos, so that's a pretty good view from the porch, especially when you got a good dog, right? Y'all be the light. Have a good week.